going to talk about here? Well, apart from being a closet Cliff Richard fan, and I'll put a link to that song in the down below at the end, I'm here to admit that it may even be a bit clickbaity, and what I'm actually going to talk about is the effects of a lifetime of heavy drinking on me. And how did this idea get planted in my head? Well, last night was the third night that I'd been without a drink. And it's not as bad as it sounds, because in the lead up to Christmas and over Christmas, I'd been 61 days without any alcohol. I drank the 23rd and 24th, and I did not drink from 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th. I had a drink on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So last night was my third night without any alcohol, and I thought that hopefully it might be a better night, because this was spurred on. I woke up from a really, really deep, heavy sleep that I've been having constant dreams all night, and funnily enough, that song came into my mind. Unfortunately, I can't remember what I was dreaming about now, so I can't do any more with the link. But one of the first things that I noticed every time that I stop drinking is how bad my sleep is when I am drinking. I seem to get no benefit from the sleep I have. I'm up and about all night going to the loo for not much actual result, and have very few dreams. So the first two nights there was very little improvement, and the second night, prior to going to bed, for 2 hours or 3 hours prior to going to bed, I was actually very anxious, and I was scared that I might end up with a bad bout of sleep apnea, which I again always have in this transition from drinking to sobriety. As it was, when I went to bed, the next night I went to bed and I just fell into a deep, normal sleep and had all these fantastic dreams. So that's the first thing. I mean, from now on, I ought to be in this, knock on wood for good luck, I ought to be in this normal sleep cycle. So that is usually the first benefit that you feel. What actually happens to me is that if I drink over a long period, like when I am drinking, I normally drink every day. Not to excess, I hasten to add. You never see me falling around drunk or staggering about or doing anything like that, but it's just a regular consumption of mainly beer. But what I find now is that my body is less able to metabolize not only the alcohol but all the other nasty crap that's in bottled beer nowadays. Believe me, it is pretty nasty. So over a period of time, what actually happens is I become more and more unwell, and therefore more and more likely to just have a drink, a livener as it is, to kind of get me through the day. So for me, the first day without any alcohol is usually not very nice, and I've got to get through that. Once I'm through that, then usually I'm off and running again for however long I decide. So that is the first hurdle. So I've mentioned about 3 days to get back into a normal sleep pattern, but if I've been drinking for quite a long time, month, 2 months or something like that, then it's going to take something in the region of 2 weeks for all the poisonous shit to get out of my body. And that is kind of symptomized by my aches and pains gradually clearing up, getting less and less prone to arthritic outbreaks in the undercarriage, otherwise known as gout, I suppose. Gout is a form of arthritis. That is one of the first things that I need to get over. In which time, of course, hopefully I'm getting more mobile, so I'm more able to get my normal regular exercise. Although it's not unknown for me to stop drinking and then have an outbreak of gout, because the uric acid and whatever builds up in the body, and you don't know when it's going to cluster around a joint and cause a flare-up. So a week after being alcohol free, I could still get an outbreak of gout, and I might do again. So who knows about that? But let's say once you get over that 2 weeks, hopefully my undercarriage problems should start to clear up. But there are other deep-seated aches and pains and whatever around the lower back region, and that takes an awful lot more. Like I went for 3 months without any alcohol, and in that 3 months, after that 3 months, I was completely clear of aches and pains and whatever. It was really great. This last time, on the Christmas time, and just over Christmas, I said I'd been 61 days clear, and the vast majority of my aches and pains had gone as well, so I was well on the way to having that cleared up. Next comes skin. For a heavy drinker, the skin is really pretty gnarly. Around here, flaky and scabby and whatever. That takes quite a while to clear up, and a bit of moisturizer helps. But yeah, skin is another huge benefit of not drinking alcohol. All the while, of course, I'm losing weight. And nowadays it takes for me so long to lose weight, but it's very quick to go back on again. So I'm in that kind of limbo land now between in the 160 pound region, where I need to be at least 10 pounds lighter than that, and at the end of that 3 month period I was down to 150 pounds. So that's where I need to get back down again. I'll go into my future plans at the end of this video. What else? Tao Chang. One of the huge problems for me drinking is added to my other undercarriage problems is Tao Chang, and I'll let this 3 year younger version of me explain it with a photograph or two. These are what normal feet look like. I mean, they're not the most beautiful feet in the world, but look, they're not at all swollen. The metatarsals are all there, and ankle is thin and well formed. That is a normal foot. And up here is a photograph of my feet, my ankles really, that I took this morning. Well, it's a little video actually. So let's cut in a video that I... Well, that video was shot in January 2020. It is actually now January 2023. And if you don't mind my saying so, they're looking even nicer now. The Tao Chang, alcoholic Tao Chang, has completely and utterly disappeared. But and Tao Chang is just one of the horrendous byproducts. Up here in the corner is what swollen feet and ankles of a drunk look like. And it's, in my case anyway, I'm certain it's water retention. It can be one or two other things that are much, much worse than that. Sign of congestive heart failure or diabetes, amongst 10 or 12 other possible causes of swollen ankles. But in my case, the body prioritizes getting rid of the alcohol, then getting rid of the poisons, and only then does it start working on getting rid of all the liquid, the fluid that went down my gullet with it. And so water retention for someone my age is a big problem. So I could add to that mental instability problems. If I'm stopping drinking, I get pretty bad anxiety attacks. Being a long-term sufferer of anxiety and depression, for which in my younger years I self-medicated on alcohol for, and that is partly the reason of my lifetime's addiction to alcohol. But nowadays, I'm largely clear of that. I do get prone to feeling sorry for myself, but that's not depression. Thankfully, unless something else crops up, I'm kind of over that. So you see the terrible toll that alcohol can take on your body. I mean, you younger folks out there, yeah, go ahead, have a few beers and whatever, but when you get to my age, if you're of my body type and you've mistreated those parts of your body like I have, you will end up in the same boat as me, where have a couple of beers, mix it with a couple of glasses of wine, and you're screwed. You'll wake up the next day feeling like crap, and then a rapid cycle down is very, very possible, and only a strong will gets you out of it. Then after that comes all the other negative effects: the swollen feet, the crappy skin, the aching limbs, the bad backs, and all of that kind of stuff. So what's my plan for the future then? Well, I don't know. Take every day as it comes. Things are better for me now than they were, because I'm actually used to going for quite extended periods now without any alcohol. So I might get some horrendously bad news on an email or a phone call in the next 10 minutes. I certainly hope not, but leaving that aside, I have no plans to drink today, and I've got no plans to drink tomorrow, and I've got no plans to drink for the foreseeable future. But what I might do, because I miss my talks to you down the pub, it's a great venue for me. Otherwise I've got to do it like this, and it's not so easy, and it's not quite so nice. It's much more controlled. But what I might do is sort of go down my local pub once a month and set aside one day for having a couple of beers and a chat to you. You know, may even go out and have a hamburger and a glass of wine, something like that. I mustn't forget the plus point of not drinking is the money I save. I worked out that I'm saving in the region of, at a minimum, 5,000 baht a month. I mean, let's say I drank 2 bottles of beer a day, that's a little over 100 baht, so that's 1,400 baht a week, and there are at least 4 weeks in the month, nearer to 5 in most cases, so that's between 5,000 and 6,000 baht, and if I was fully drinking, then I'd be having a bit more than that, and I would be going down my pub at least once a week and spending another 500 baht in there. So it's quite conceivable that I'm saving at a peak of 10,000 baht a month, which is a considerable sum of money. It's about 300 quid. It could be a couple of hundred quid a month. So that's another real plus point. So we'll see how it goes. You know, I aim to go, you know, to the end of this month, 28 days in. That's divisions of 7 are easy to calculate how long I've been dry. So I'll 28 days in, then have a day where I come and talk to you and have a burger, and then the day after that, then that's number 29, and it goes on. It's easier for my mind to calculate it like that, because I must know what I'm up to, otherwise I'll think I'm doing really, really well, but if I got my pen and paper out and my calendar, I'd realise I was back to being a drunk again. So that's it. One final question: am I an alcoholic? No, I don't think I am. I'm not physically addicted to alcohol. I find it very hard to stop, but that's another issue. But if I do stop, then I don't get severe withdrawal symptoms. I don't get the shakes. I don't get delirium tremens. I don't get seizures, all that kind of stuff. I just feel like crap for 2 or 3 days until my body manages to fight through it. But what I am is psychologically addicted to alcohol, which means everything to my mind always was an excuse for a drink. It's a good day, let's have a drink. It's a bad day, or let's have a drink, and all kind of cases in between. Like today, I got an email that I'd won 100 quid on the premium bonds. First time. I get quite a few prizes now because I've got quite a bit invested, but normally, well, they're always only 25 quid. About 6 months ago, I got a £50 prize, first ever, and now I've got a £100 prize. Well, I ought to really go out and have a few beers to celebrate that, but no, I'm not, and I'm not in the least bit tempted to do so. So that's where we are. I'm dreaming of being sober for another month. Cheerio.